entire pitch, and then at the end, she was like, yeah, but also I like love doing makeup, and I'm really passionate about my appearance on stage. She was an African young female, and she was like, I wear my hair in a natural fro, and I dress in African garb. And she was like, this is what sets me apart from every other classical musician that I've worked with. And we were like, wow, this is what's going to set your talk singular from any other talk. So it really is about developing that relationship with them. And I like to say, in this timeline, the second bullet point says speaker assignment is present and now. And as Tim said, there are speakers who have already been assigned to be catalyst. But that initial reaction or initial interactions with your speakers is I encourage it to really be about relationship building, just getting to know one another. Like I said on the phone to many of you, you'll have an opportunity to hopefully meet them in person unless they're remote, but figuring out a good space to kind of have these talks with them. It might be at your workspace, or maybe it's a location that's central to the both of you, but a space where they can be vulnerable. And then I challenge you to be vulnerable as well. It's not always easy, but I think these youth will just benefit from that as a group. So I forget where I was going.
Well, I'll just fill a little, just
Yeah.
the authenticity of the relationship you form. Just as we don't want our young people, sometimes they escape into the persona of being the lecturer,
Yeah.
the expert, at 14, social and emotional well-being, deep lived experience and insight that's completely valuable.
Yeah.
But they don't bring themselves to it. They assume it's persona. It's dissociative, absolutely. Well, our young people are also incredibly savvy, and they smell that sort of mask. They can tell when there's a mask going on, or when they're not really getting the real deal. It's not authentic, right? The best thing we can do when we're coaching them is bring them our lives. Invest that in the mentoring relationship, in the coaching relationship. And by the way, you do that to open the channel so that what you say, you do that to be real in relationship, but also to open that channel for receptivity of trust, right? And shared respect in these things that are maybe taken for granted. But just remember, while you're there as a guide and a shepherd and someone to help with discovery and development, you're there as a person to be in relationship with this young person and help them on their journey. So
Yeah.
that's what I would add.
I do have a question. Just in terms of, so the speaker assignment, is it rolling kind of as, just in terms of timeline, like when we might get matched?
That's the goal. The goal is that we do kind of a bundling and then matching, a bundling and then matching. So have 5 to 10 catalysts, get them matched out. Have 5 to 10 catalysts, get them matched out. We do have this great initiative to create community between speakers and catalysts, get them familiar with one another, build social capital, have a sense of shared sort of participation. So we have that kickoff date, the community building meet and greet. We're going to have a couple of those. Something 1B does incredibly is relationships and community building and events. They're adding so much to how we think about that. And these meet and greets are one of the ways. The other way is by packing our workshops with community members, catalysts that aren't serving the individual speakers, and speakers that aren't necessarily presenting during that workshop but want to help others. So in our workshops, we have weekly workshops. You don't have to be to every one. We'd like you to come to one a month. And we want to have community members, leaders, partners, other catalysts and speakers as that group of really strong supporters and shapers of what's going on in developing talks.
When you do the matching, is there like a criteria that you follow, or is it availability, or?
We will talk about that.
Okay.
It's art and science, so don't think that it's like this perfect alignment of interest, personality, conflict resolution styles. Nope. Sorry. We will say that there are intentions, and here's how we solve for matching really high caliber youth, really high caliber catalysts. Guess what? They tend to figure things out, and we support the heck out of you. So you're going to have someone talking to you. You're going to have Sunday night calls you want to drop in. You're going to have catalyst connections at workshops. Great support, high caliber people, bring them together. Things usually work out. I'm aware of 3 in the youth program, 3 times that it didn't work, and we want to find that out early, and then we can rematch quickly. And we will handle all of that as a curation team. So it's not on you to navigate those rocky shores. We'll take care of that.
But with that said, so the check-ins, how they work, I mean, we haven't done any check-ins yet, but once you're matched, myself or Tim or any other volunteers will just have a call with you and just ask how it's going. We'll also do this with the speakers, so it's not like you're on a call together. So we'll just ask you, how is the initial relationship going? How do you think the pairing is going? And also, how is their talk development going? That's a time to say, and this happened a lot last year, they haven't been responding to me. I don't think that their talk is developed. They're not really hearing me. They haven't been to workshops. That's the time to tell us that, and that's when we realize that they might not be moving forward. So just like thinking about this, as Tim said, the meet and greet will be on the 8th. It's just, we're bringing everyone together, which we've never had an opportunity to do before. So you might meet someone that you will be paired with. That's not to say that you're going to be paired with them, but you'll just have an opportunity to meet a bunch of youth and other catalysts in the room, as well as the leadership team. Then the speaker assignment, as Sarah asked, will be on a rolling basis. And we just have some other milestones that Tim and I use to keep track of, like talk development. So a talk outline, just a draft. Has the speaker been working on a structure that you have been developing together? Are they contacting you, whatnot? And then by the end of September, we're hoping that you could have like a talk draft finalized. So just so you know, to back up a little bit, we are hoping to have every speaker and catalyst matched by September 9th. So nominations will stop by August 31st. That's a pretty hard deadline unless some others come in.
Yeah.
But then by the 9th, we would love to have everybody matched, so you'll have a good solid 2 months to work together to develop a talk. 1 month before the event, so October 9th, you will know whether or not you and your speaker are advancing. And my boss, Sarah, who was here last time, really emphasized, which I thought was good, it should not be a surprise by November 9th or by October 9th whether or not you're advancing, and it's because of those check-ins. It's that time to say they're not developing, they're not answering, and that way it's no one's shocked. That would be my hope, at least. That said, that's when the speaker lineup will be finalized, so everyone at that point, so the 20 youth speakers and adults for the most part will know if they're going to stage. And then memorization deadline, at least 2 weeks prior. It sounds obvious, but even last year we had some people reading off note cards and stuff, and that's just not, I do not want that to happen. That will not happen this year, and that's why we're having more speaker workshops that people can practice, and we'll get on them about it, and if we need to offer some public speaking help, we'll figure out a way to do that.
Yeah, you should know, we have our deadlines. These are forcing function deadlines, everyone in the room. We're all people to get things done, so we get it. We're not trying to create stress in our young people's lives or your lives. There's some give. You're an extension of us as a curation team. You really are an extension of the curation team. You're our eyes and ears, you're our remote sensing capability and understanding what's happening. This idea that there are no surprises, it's not all about, there are speakers that have been notified they're going to be matched for almost 3 weeks now. They've been working on copy. They're going to be matched to our catalyst. They'll have some groundwork done already. It may be that their impact just isn't there. It's just not there. The implications of their talk just doesn't have the gravity that we want to advance them. Well, in our check-ins, we'll look to identify circumstances like that. We'll show you our rubric. Our young people see our rubric. Everyone gets the rubric for what we're looking for, and it's an evolving place of depositing institutional insight. But you'll see that, and we do really work to say, okay, we can recognize these 5 speakers aren't moving forward. Let's talk about notification. Let's talk about redirection, and we want to do that earlier rather than later.
Yeah. And then just some other milestones, talk graphics and visuals. I know Tim can talk to this, but figuring out whether or not a youth will be using visuals on stage, and what do you always say about how?
Keep a notebook with your young person along the way. So often we wait too long to do visuals. Yeah. So it's great to do, if you do ever done mood boards or save a Pinterest or however you save imagery, ask your young person to keep a little journal of where they think there's a need for a visual, or a visual that came to their mind. They have no idea how it fits in. The visual channel and auditory channel is really important, but it needs to be used in a thoughtful way. Just don't wait to try and find videos for specific parts of the talk. Be inspired, inspire your young person along the way. Or if you have an idea, find a way of collecting these and pinning them or saving them together. So there's this kind of moving journal of AV complementary material. And then when it comes time, guess what? You can go mine, muse, reflect on what's been collected along the way. And it kind of keeps the creative and meaning sort of gates open. So it doesn't feel so forced, because we just don't want to see, here's a visual for the sake of having a visual, right?
Yeah. So our visuals, they're not obligatory, it's optional?
They're optional, encouraged,
Yeah.
and optional, if they're using the channel in the auditory visual channels in a respectful way. And we want to coach on that point, that I just don't want to see what you just told me on the screen.
Right.
Let's respect the channel, what it can communicate, and how it can impact the flow and the arcs of your talk. Okay.
And then, of course, the event on November 9th. If you can't make that event, you will not be deterred from becoming a catalyst. However, we'll just find other ways to get support for your speaker that day of. A lot of times it's just finding someone else to be there for them because of nerves. And we will be there, I will be there all day. Something else that I just want to mention just about the talk, the talks will be no more than 9 minutes long. In between then, it could be speed talk, so it could be as short as like 2 to 3 minutes long. If that's what they've got and it's great and it fits all of our rubric, we'll send them to stage and that's perfect. As Tim said, we're trying to shorten our event, so honestly, I'm okay with that, and I think that sounds appealing because sometimes they tended to be too long last year. So we're trying to be very conscious of that.
Yeah, 10 research is showing 60-minute talks get watched for 8 minutes.
Yeah.
And there's also about what we're trying to do in the live event to create a more complete experience for the live audience, and how we're directing that, and keeping shorter talks that both are impactful and really work well on the web for web attention spans and live stream attention spans, as well as how they fit into the live produced event, because we're really working to bring the level of experience up for everyone this season. So it seems like the right direction. Lightning talks, sometimes we divert speakers that aren't finalists this year, but they have a lightning talk to give about, this is what I'm going to talk about, this is what I'm going to talk about next season, here's why I care about it, 2-3 minutes, and it's that little appetizer, right? Little taste that we can then come back to next season or future season.
I'm going to jump into commitment now. Any questions about those milestones or anything that I've said so far? Okay, so the commitment. Once you are matched, it is sort of expected. It is expected that you will be meeting with your speaker 1 to 2 hours a week, and that doesn't have to be in person. As I said, it can be over phone call, it can be over email, even via Zoom. It is preferred if it can be in person. We know that it doesn't always happen, and again, as Tim said, this 1 to 2 hour time is encouraged, but we know that everyone gets busy, especially the students in the fall when school starts back up again. So just figure out what works for you, and making sure that they are meeting these deadlines and figuring things out. Additional to these one-on-one meetings that you'll be having, if you turn to this second little page, as Tim said, we will be having workshops, and workshops will be, they've sort of already started alongside of the pitch session, so with the leadership team we're doing a lot of these as well. But as Tim said, these workshops will happen every Wednesday from 7 to 9 right here in Small Army. It's an opportunity for us to bring catalysts and speakers together. You don't have to be at every one, and just so you know, your catalyst